Welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. We talk all the time, folks, about the digital world. It is loud, it is crowded, and if you don't really know what you're doing or not comfortable yet, you need to find professionals like Oak City Tech who can help you navigate that and get your word out to your future clients so you can grow your business. Please go to oakcitytech.com, tell them what you're looking for. I know they'll be able to help you. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning. Each week on Triangle BNI, we bring you local small business success stories. If you are not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of heaven here in the Triangle is Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Each week, about 35 chapters and almost 530 members get together, and our goal is to help each other grow our businesses. And our small business success story this week is Michele Stewart with Pickett Sprouse Commercial Real Estate. Michele, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Mike?
Doing good. How's your weekend?
Oh, it's absolutely fabulous. Sunny, beautiful, a little warm.
Okay, but you survived. I mean, August warm, you can handle that.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've been through enough of these here in the Triangle, right? You've dealt with
Yes,
August warm before, so. Michele is in RDO6. It is Profits in the Park. They meet Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. You guys are back in person now at Hope Community Church in Morrisville.
that is correct. In
How,
person.
yep. How's that going for you? Are you comfortable with everything? Glad to see everyone each week.
I am so glad to see everyone. Definitely comfortable. We are masked up. We are vaccinated. We are as safe as we can be. Wonderful to see everybody in their personality.
I agree. What drew you to that chapter?
Well, if I have to say honestly, it is their warm energy. They are welcoming. They are professional. They know their business. I trust, like, and would send them business and would want to give business to them as well.
And a couple of characters in that group, right?
Oh, some strong personalities. They're my people.
Your group is a lot like mine. We pass real good business. I tell people we're about 54% passing business, 46% snark. So,
100%.
yep. So
Wow.
you need to bring your A game. We enjoy dishing it out because those of us that dish it out can take it. So we have a lot of fun. Commercial
Love the
real estate.
authentic
Do what now?
I said I love the authenticity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are who we are, and we just if, you say something stupid in our meeting, you're gonna get called out on it, and we all know it, so but
Uh,
we get good results, on the feedback from visitors, so. Alright, commercial real estate. What's the world like these days here in the Triangle? If somebody's just wanna talk some overview here, if somebody's thinking about looking to get some real estate property, what are a couple things they need to know or be on the lookout for?
So I want to know what type of business they're wanting to perform, if I'm running some sort of lease analysis on what part of the triangle, because that's location is everything. Also, I want to know their financials. I have a quality banker that I will send them with to make sure that they're in their parameters or where they need to be. If they need demographics that go with that, definitely wonderful partners to be able to put them with to really narrow down their goals so I can give it to them.
And the growth areas are not consistent all around town, right? There's always downtown, which always something's always happening, but the way the suburbs and the outskirts are growing, imagine you have stuff and opportunities popping up everywhere, right?
100%. And the downtown market is not everyone's market. There are people that truly don't want that. That's not their demographic at all. They want to go suburbs. Some are more industrial and they don't need that presence. So definitely happy to help them there.
And you not only will sell property to a buyer, but you will help them find leasing space.
100%. Any buying, selling, or leasing of small business, medium business within the Triangle area is where I shine.
You've been doing this almost a year now, and we'll get into previous jobs before this. But do you enjoy working with somebody buying a property versus leasing? Where have you kind of found your um, wheelhouse, if you have yet?
Sure, that's an interesting question. So actually, I love both. They have different. There again, they have different goals. Some of your ones that are buying and wanting to bring that in, they're wanting to stay for a long time. They're usually already a sustained business and love to help them. They have a great energy. some of my leasing businesses, whether they're a new small business or they are looking to upsize their space, or maybe they're looking to downsize since the COVID pandemic. Definitely a transition. I like both. Love both, actually.
What have you learned from businesses that own property, and they've got office space that are now allowing their employees to work from home?
So if I'm understanding the question properly, you're wanting to know how. Can you repeat the question,
Yeah,
please?
so for these businesses now that are allowing a number of their employees to work from home, how are they changing their business model with office space they have?
Sure.
Employees may or may not come in 1 or 2 days a week, stuff like that.
Sure, I'm actually working with one client. They are looking to downsize because they do not need that brick and mortar space for all of their employees. They are going to be coming back into their office space. However, they're broadening now. So they're going to have at home people working there. They're going to have in space. They need conferences, but they're downsizing tremendously. And I see that trend happening throughout the triangle.
It is interesting going through this because growing up, it was always 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day in the office, no discussion, no nothing. And now we're finding out there's probably quite a few people that are more productive employees working from home.
Sure, it is definitely a hybrid model and it is working. And do not see this going anywhere. I think there might be some tweaks and movement within that space, but it's not going anywhere.
Do you enjoy working out of the house?
I do. I like the flexibility of working from home. I like the flexibility of working anywhere that I have my computer, to be honest.
I get in trouble every now and then. It's like, let me just pop the TV on, check some headlines or stuff, and then there's always the refrigerator, right? It just calls
Sure,
our name during no time
sure,
for no good reason, right? It calls our name.
sure. Absolutely. I think we all manage how to make that work. Maybe you have a noisemaker, maybe you have whatever you need to
Yes.
have that
Yeah, or
makes it
put a camera on there for my wife to see so she can call me, get out of the refrigerator, right? Sometimes we need accountability, right?
absolutely.
I know.
Always need our people, our village.
Oh, yeah. I know sometimes I'll just go up to Panera's and sit. I'm a member of their
Mm,
$8 a month coffee club, happy to be that. Sometimes I just have to get out of the house because
wonderful
I
program.
I can
Mhm.
stay more focused. Even though I'm in a restaurant with 50, 80 people walking around, I seem to be more focused because I can't get up and do anything.
Sure, sure. Myself as well.
Yep.
I
We're
like my structure, I like my focus, and great, but as long as there's not too many distractions, I can wave and hug and enjoy talking to people, but sometimes I need to focus a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, and sometimes somebody will walk in I haven't seen in a while. So,
Oh, those are the best times.
yep, so we'll chat for a minute and keep going. Okay, mom of 3.
Mm,
Uh, I
yes,
I tell people the best job in the world is parenting. Uh,
yes. It's
I
the biggest blessing. They're my babies, and they will be my babies until they're 80.
Yep. How old are your kids?
My children are 15, 16, and 20, all boys.
Oh, that's right, you're still such a young mom, that's right. All boys. Did you grow up with a brother?
I did not. I have a sister, and the majority of my cousins were male, so,
Eh.
you know.
So
Mhm.
you've seen dumb male stuff at the age of 8 and 12 and 15, right? All the because we're guys. I mean, we're predictable. We're fun, but we're predictable. And sometimes we just want to jump off the back of a couch and see if we can fly or land properly, right?
You know what? Never let them get bored. Keep
No.
them active.
Are they into are they into extracurricular activities through school and everything?
Absolutely. They were big soccer players, and with about a year ago, I guess my 16-year-old has transitioned into golf, and he loves it, and my 15-year-old is now into golf. So that's their that's their little walk now.
Did they get
They're having
s-
a good time.
did they get soccer and golf skills from mom?
Well, I golf plays me, and I love to play, so maybe not quite so much. They're much better than I am now. Soccer, I can play a little on the field. I'm definitely athletic and have enjoyed that all my life.
Have you been able to use golf as a meeting place for commercial business?
Oh, absolutely. Golf is a wonderful sport. Takes you out of the conference room and out of more of a structured kind of stuffy environment sometimes, and just lets people be people. So, absolutely, yes.
And I have found that you really get to know somebody. For those folks who play golf, they'll get it. If you haven't played golf before, you may not understand this. But when you play golf with somebody, you're basically with them for 4 hours, give or take, 3.5 to
Sure.
4.5 hours, depending on how long the round takes. But you learn a lot about them just watching how they play. Do they defer to others? Are they, or do they prop you up if you hit a bad shot? Are they like, okay, we can do this? Or do they kick their own ball out of the woods onto the fairway because they want to win the match?
Sure. Definitely see those true personalities and their authenticity. Kinda takes that facade away. Mhm.
But
The wonderful sport.
I'm with you though. There is very good business that can be done on the golf course.
Oh, 100%. There's also a lot of charities, that are within this area that you're able to bridge the commercial real estate world with other professions that have a mutual love and desire to wanna help the community, and I'm passionate about that.
How often are you able to get out and play?
Not as much this year, but at least maybe once to twice a month.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So I like your signs behind you on your wall.
Oh.
Are those important to you? Those sayings of the day type things, little motivational phrases?
Oh, well, for me, yes. Yes. Work hard, stay humble. You can work as hard as you want to, but,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you need to stay humble, love your people, love what you're doing, and stay passionate. The hustle, it's always a
Yep.
hustle. It's commercial real estate. That's not going anywhere. And
Yeah,
mind over matter is definitely important.
yeah. The hustle part is a good one. There's 2 things I've learned in the working world. One is hustle and the other is grind.
Sure.
And most all my analogies are sports related, and I hope people listening and watching have at least somewhat of a sports background. But I always tell people the grind is important because if you look at the greatest athletes in the world, and the 2 biggest that I've been able to watch growing up were Jordan and Tiger, and they were the
Sure.
best grinders because they were the last one to leave from practice, and they always wanted to be good. So there's something to be said for just because you're the best player. Generally, if the best player, or in your case, the best salesperson in the company, if they're the hardest worker, I think a lot of people latch onto that, like, oh, you know what? Let me up my game here a little bit.
Be diligent and have passion.
Yes,
Mhm.
I agree. How is your office set up with brokers and real estate agents?
If I'm understanding the question properly, we definitely have office space as an entity. It's Pickett Sprouse Commercial Real Estate, and we merged with Weston Woodall not too long ago in 2018. Pardon me. They are a residential firm within Durham County, and Pickett Sprouse has been around since 1968, and we were able to merge those two to just give a fabulous platform for our community. So to answer your question, we have residential agents on one end of our building, we have commercial agents on the other end, and we have property management as well. So we have individual office spaces that we're able to utilize, and if we need to kind of step away and just be by ourselves, or if we need to collectively come together in a conference room to collaborate on what we're seeing, what we need done, we can do that. Also, as very common with real estate agents as a whole, we're all over the triangle where we have our computer, where we have our phones. We are working for our clients 100% of the time. So that doesn't stop with a 9 to 5 type scenario.
Through BNI, I've attended many meetings where one or the other realtor is in their car. They may have stopped at like I said, a Panera's or a Starbucks to have the meeting, or if the weather's decent, they're just sitting outside. But you're right, basically, is have laptop will travel.
100%. Yes. Yes.
Now, I've also learned through BNI the big difference, or the way that a commercial realtor looks at residential real estate and the way a residential realtor looks at commercial. Generally, you've learned you can't do both, and mostly you've learned I don't want to do both, right?
Yes, they're different animals. I
Yeah.
mean, they just are. The way that you look at property, what a commercial is gonna look at income producing abilities for your investors, your clients that are wanting to hold on to it. That's extremely important and very difficult to look at as a mutual agent, and you're looking at that property versus value and personal asset.
And it's do you now, like I said, you've been in this about a year. Are you finding that you're enjoying this a whole lot?
I enjoy commercial real estate. I've been in the commercial real estate world since 2014, but it was on a different aspect. I was more consulting, investment, and other type portfolio parts. I went into the brokerage part a little over a year ago and have enjoyed that immensely.
And the earlier part you're talking about is through Vega Investment. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, Vega Investments. Yes.
Now, how'd you get hooked up with that, and what did you do there, versus what you're doing now?
Sure. So in 2014, I completely changed careers, which was a beautiful out of my comfort zone type thing, but I've enjoyed it very much. I worked with commercial property management, private investors, where we would rehab different commercial entities or residential entities that were income producing, and to be able to bring the product that we were wanting to do. I've also helped construction firms build their commercial portfolio and help just kind of bridge what that looked like. So those are some of my responsibilities that I took care of.
Where did that interest come from?
Yes. So I grew up in the real estate world, from regular residential real estate to the legal real estate, which I had a broader aspect there, to developing land and properties and what have you. So I grew up in that world. I In 2014, when I decided to bridge there, my personal life took a different stand. My children were getting a little older, where I could change and do different things, and I wanted to be present. This gives me a lot of flexibility, a lot of different things, and I absolutely have embraced it and love it.
Did you have family members growing up in the real estate world, which got you always to keep an eye on that?
Absolutely. I've had several cousins, my mother, an uncle, so many family members.
How many showings were you dragged along to growing up?
Not too many. I was more in a legal office, more on the legal attorney aspect of things. And as a little girl, I was under that desk and played all the time, and I grew up in that world for many, many years.
You grew up in Durham?
Actually, I did. I grew up in Durham. Moved here when I was around 8 years old and call it home. Love my people.
Where did you guys move from?
Well, we moved from Arizona to Colorado and then Arkansas for just a spell, and then the Pinehurst area of North Carolina when we came here, and then settled in Durham. I
Wow.
have family generations back that are within this area. It
Oh, really?
always brings us home. I do.
Alright. So how'd you
Mhm.
guys, what got you here from the West Coast then? A job?
So I was young when I came from the West Coast to
Mhm.
here. So actually, yes, my parents had taken a job there, and then we had moved to Pinehurst, where I have an aunt and many cousins, and um, then when we moved here to the Durham area, just to give you a little perspective there, my grandmother is one of 10 and my grandfather is one of 8, and they're all from here in the Northern Durham area. So it brought us back.
Alright, so at family reunions prior to COVID, how many people were in attendance?
Okay, in my younger years, we had up to probably 75 plus, so many. Some of those older generations have kind of are not quite with us anymore. They're in better places. But yes, it's dwindled quite a bit, but we're still at 40, 45.
And how many, probably a fair number of grandchildren and great-grandchildren that you're part of, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
How many of them do you hang out with?
Maybe 5 or 6 that I
Okay.
see regular. Yeah, honestly, as people, some of our younger generation have gotten older, they kinda go across the country or internationally. They don't stay in one place anymore like they used to.
That is true. Back in the day, and we're talking about this before you logged on, Amnon and I were that, our I guess my grandfather's generation, they worked 40 years at the same company. They got the
Sure,
watch on the day they retired, and that was their story.
100%.
Yeah.
Not that it's not the way of things anymore, at least not what's common.
Yeah, which is kinda nice to meet people from different areas. I do enjoy
Sure,
that.
sure.
Yeah. You along with the mom of 3, you are also mother of Zoe.
Yes, she is my sweet fur baby that I absolutely adore. She's
Alright.
2 years old, little 9-pound baby.
How did Zoe come into your life?
Oh, well, that's a long story, so I'll give you the short version of that. My middle son, he's 16 now. He had to have this little dog. I have had big dogs the majority of my life, and He wanted her, he begged, and I caved, and she came there, and now she's my baby.
And in 2 years, when he goes off to college, guess who's left, taking care of Zoe, right?
Oh, and I embrace that. I love her.
Yeah, she's not leaving the house anytime soon, is she?
No, no, not at all.
We are here with Michele Stewart with Pickett Sprouse Commercial Real Estate. Michele is also a part of RDO6 Profits in the Park. They meet Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. at Hope Community Church in Morrisville. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. One of the things we talk all the time, folks, is who owns your social media. Believe it or not, Facebook owns your social media. They can lock you out today if they so choose to do. All the other people who own all the other platforms own what you're on, but you own your mailing list. That's one of the ways to get out to your current and future clients. And the folks at Oak City Tech can help you with that. They can help you get it set up. They can help you with the messaging and the tracking to see how many people you convert through those. So find all the things you can control like that and go to the pros at Oak City Tech. They'll be able to help you. All right, Michele. So when I do research on guests for the show, I'm always intrigued on what I will learn. And obviously, you and I have known each other just a little bit. So I knew what you did on the commercial real estate side. And I knew you're getting to be a pretty good golfer. I think you're a sandbagger. I think you're better than you tell people are, but we'll talk about that another day. So, but I did learn that you are, in no particular order, tell me if I've got this right. You are a yoga instructor. You're obviously a realtor. You're a notary. You have some sort of licensing in micromedial remediation as well as water damage and restoration.
I do.
Am I
All of those
close?
things. You
Okay.
have all of those things correct.
All right. So let's start with the yoga. What can old people with bad backs and tight hamstrings like myself learn from a good yoga instructor?
You're as flexible as your spine is, so always move.
I try to do that. I do stretch a lot, but man, oh man, it just my mind is 19, but my back is 60 easily. So what kind of things can we do just to keep limber as we get older?
Well, inversions are a wonderful thing. So, as much as you can keep those lower extremities above your heart, if you could do that maybe 15 minutes a day, and breathe. Yoga is about breath. So, never forget that. All of our corporate people and people in small businesses, they're quite stressful. So, if they could maybe the end of the day or maybe the beginning of the day when they go into their head and just breathe and find that calming space, it's a blessing. And yoga is completely that.
And I have my wife and I have found some yoga on YouTube that we've started to do, and I've never really done it before, so I didn't understand how impactful the breathing is, but I'm with you. If I've learned anything from yoga, it is that, and it does make a difference.
Sure it does. It's yes, a lot of lung capacity that is not utilized properly. Breathe deep and hold it and then let it go.
Mm.
Mhm.
Now, I have to keep my lower extremities above my heart. Is that how you said that?
That's what I like to do. That's what I encourage my students to do. If they can lay on the floor and put their legs up a wall, a piece of furniture, maybe an
Ah.
office chair, any of those type things, it, it's quite beneficial.
Oh, so I could just lay on the floor and put my calves and my feet up on the couch?
100%. Tell your wife
Oh.
that that's okay to do. Just take your shoes off.
Yes, yeah, yeah. As long as I can see the TV, right? Of good. I can sit there for hours. Sure, not a
There
problem.
you go.
Okay. All right. Well, I learned something new today. I can do that. Uh, how often are you still teaching classes?
Actually, no, not since COVID. I'm really not teaching. With the exception of my family, I will work with them. Other than that, no, just a personal practice.
Do you get to that every day for you?
Actually, if I'm being transparent, no, I should, no, but definitely try to a good 4 times a week, five.
And evening, morning, is that something for each of us to figure out?
For me, evening is definitely better if I'm doing any sort of physical practice in the sense of stretching and your different asanas or shapes, I should say. Yes, in the morning, breathing is very important for me. Helps me recenter, start my day, stay focused,
Mm.
motivated, centered. So, yes, very much so.
Alright, well, that makes sense, and when you're playing in these charity golf tournaments and you're on the first tee and there's 84 people watching, that deep breathing comes in handy, doesn't it?
I guess. So very much so.
Don't hit it in the water, don't hit it in the water. We've all been there. Alright, so the notary public, I imagine that comes in handy in your business.
It does, especially when I was more in the consulting side, which I definitely still practice in. It just became necessary.
Now, micromedial remediation, did I say that correctly?
It did.
Okay,
You
what is that?
Okay, so working with mold, understanding what those are,
Ah,
especially when I was helping one of my construction clients, and they specialized with structural integrity, a lot of water issues, mold, things of that nature, and I needed to better understand it. So that's what I wanted to do, is go and become certified and learn more about it, so I can be knowledgeable not only with myself, with my client, and some of those customers that I may come in contact with.
and, for a couple years, my brother and I owned a, pest control company, and so I was under
Okay,
quite a few
sure.
houses but that's a whole nother podcast trying to get indoors that are like this size and, a little hard sometimes. But when we see water standing somewhere and we clean it up, we think once it's dry, it's good,
Yeah.
but that's not
No.
always the case, is it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Wood is porous. It's going to absorb. Water's going to take the path of least resistance. And just because you cannot physically see where that water is does not mean that your damage is not there. Definitely call your specialist. Um, just get those estimates. Have them look at it. You don't have to do anything with it necessarily, but it's very important to tackle it early, then wait till it becomes a stronger issue.
And once somebody has cleaned up water in the house, how long should they be peeking back at it to make sure it didn't sit there long enough to grow some mold?
Well, mold can grow very quickly, and there again, I would definitely refer to my specialist to come out and look. If it's just a small little spill that you're wiping up, common sense goes a long way with that. But if it's a substantial one, or a plumbing leak, or any of those type thing, and you're removing the water that's there, does not mean it's not going through the thicker surfaces of things. And I would definitely have your technicians come out with a water meter and other things to see what's going on behind those things that you can't see with the visual eye.
And I know that has delayed or killed several real estate purchases, both residential
Oh,
and
sure.
commercial.
Sure, it is a very costly, stressful endeavor that a lot of people are not gonna wanna get into, and
Do
it's always what you can't see.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And what I've learned, is that wind and water will go wherever the heck they want.
Sure, absolutely. We're not bigger than they are. It will never happen.
No. No, and I was, what was it? I was watching the coverage of the hurricane Ida yesterday, and so the Weather Channel, I think I got this right. Did they say run from water and hide from wind, or the other way around? But I think it was that because you can't hide from water. I think you run from water, meaning pack up and drive away, and you
Oh,
hide from the
sure.
wind. But yeah, stuff
That would
like
make
that,
sense.
and you get, of course, that's the extreme is a hurricane coming through and water everywhere with the mold. But just in regular day to day life, I imagine we probably have more mold than we thought we did. Right?
Oh, sure. We all have plumbing. This is modern day living. So, there's washing machines, water heaters, your refrigerator lines that come, all of it.
Yeah.
It's yeah, very much so.
Yep. So not only do you have deep roots in Durham, but you're also a graduate from NC State in
I did
bi
go to NC State, yes.
yep, in biology. But your first job out of college was you were a clinical research associate?
Okay, so I'll backtrack that a little bit. I
Good.
started out at another college, and I worked at Duke, and I was in nursing and emergency technician, EMT, things of that nature, and that evolved into a nursing field that I adored. I ended up in the operating room, and those relationships that I made there, and my love for everything that I was learning so much. Duke Medical Center gives that ability to be able to um, see and experience many things. That evolved into anesthesiology research that we were doing with clinical trials there, from pain studies to device studies and everything in between, and that enabled into that. So by the time I actually left Duke, I was at Duke for 7.5 years, so some time.
Did
I was a
you
clinical research associate.
and it takes a special medical person to want to be in the ER?
Sure. Yeah, I loved it, but it was not the place for me to stay for a long period of time. Yes.
Because you are helping quickly, doing whatever needs to be done to get the patient prepped or stabilized or surgery, right?
Sure. 100%. And I love surgery. So I ended up in the operating room, and that's where I just ended up staying and evolving.
What was the attraction there for surgery?
I love how they fix things. I love the anatomy behind of it, of getting into the bones and seeing things from start to finish. And clinical research allowed me to do that. And in the operating room, you just get those patients in one aspect of them, and you just fix what's there, and you don't always necessarily know what happened prior or after. With clinical research, at least the role that I played in that, I was able to see my clients prior to, during, and after. So a strong family relationship, not only with them, but with their loved ones. That was important to me. I love that.
And knowing you a little bit, I imagine your bedside manners were 100%, right?
Oh, of course, I love people. I really do.
Do you watch the TV shows, all these ER and hospital TV shows?
No, actually, I'm not much of a TV person unless it's a documentary or, to the demise of my children. They think that I'm nutty with that, but I enjoy them immensely. So if it's anatomy and physiology shows or anything that's science and techie in that sense, absolutely. But reality TV, not so much.
Okay. Are those some of your follows, people in that industry, anatomy and everything like that, that you'll read or follow people on social media or anything like that?
I do. I enjoy them.
Okay.
Mhm.
Are you a guest blogger on something
I'm
probably?
No, I'm definitely not a blogger, but I enjoy watching those videos. There's so many YouTube. Technology is a wonderful thing
Oh,
to be
yeah.
able to tinker in different things of interest.
Well, and yeah, technology in general has impacted everybody's life, but I've found in the medical world, it's stupid scary how like, oh yeah, medical people, like I have a pacemaker
I
and
see.
my doctor was like, yeah, he was treating it like he just putting a Band-Aid on my knee. And here I am
Sure.
laying there like I'd never been cut open before for anything. And so I'm a little bit freaking out and the drugs are good. So I, applaud Wake Med for the drugs, but my doctor was like, "Yeah, I got 3 more tomorrow," and I feel like he bought a boat with the one that I paid for because those aren't cheap. But the technology, they just put them in, move on, and I've had 0 problems with it. So the technology part in the medical world, I imagine with just the things you've seen in the short time are pretty impressive.
I enjoyed it very much. It's been many years ago, but my passion is still there. I love helping people, which is what evolved into yoga and dealing with herbs and natural
Yeah.
medicine and things of those. Those are my passions.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the first person that, sampled the, first pacemaker.
Mhm.
Appreciate everybody that
Oh,
worked
it's
out the kinks for it.
a wonderful aspect that saved many, many people and given them longevity and
Oh,
peace
yeah.
of mind and many things.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So I always like to see people's professional arc. So you come out of college in biology, and today we sit here, Michelle, and you are a commercial realtor.
I am, and one of the things that I love to specialize in is helping my medical facilities find their spaces, biotechnology, life sciences, and alternative medicine. They're passions of mine. So my thumbprint's there. I help many other aspects, different fields that I can help them with, and I'm very good at it. Those are my passions.
Well, and that, carries over into the volunteer world, and one of the things I
Sure.
like about BNI, is the quality of people that are in there, always giving back to the community. You do one of the things that most of us think we could do, but we really wouldn't be good at it. You are part of Models for Charity,
Oh my goodness.
and I think some of us were like, "Yeah, you probably wouldn't look that good on the runway, so why don't you just sit and bid on stuff?" How did that come about, and how often you get to do that?
Well, COVID's impacted Models for Charity quite a bit, but we're still able to give back. There's live runway shows that we have done and donated that money to different local charities within our community. They're fantastic. They have helped animals from to homeless to sick children to families that are supporting those sick children. It is just a wonderful, wonderful entity to be able to support our local charities within the Triangle area.
Is
And I,
there is there a cool outfit that you modeled one day that you're like, "You know what? I could buy this and wear this."
oh, let's see. Actually, yes. Yes, absolutely. One in particular was a very pretty little teal dress that was cute as a button, and I loved it. I had to have it, and it came home with me. I bought it.
Well, yeah, you're helping the charity, so why not, right?
Well, this particular one, they're supporting local retail business stores, showcasing their attire and what's trending and things of that nature. And then they hire models for charity uh, with our pieces, and we donate a portion that we bring in and give it back to those parts. So quite important. It's a beautiful thing.
Are those events starting to come back?
They are. As soon as COVID really calms down a bit, where we can get in our communities in person and bring larger crowds that come about, absolutely.
And you were also part of the Fuquay Arts Council?
Yes, I was. I had about 2.5 years or so. I helped with on plein air, helping children paint and things of that nature outdoors. I sat on their board. I have helped run different events, fundraising, things of that nature. One of my children loves arts, and that's important to me as well. I just quite passionate about that.
Do you have a good eye for art, and can you paint or draw or anything like that?
I can paint and draw in my mind.
Oh, kinda like my singing,
But
okay. I'm with you.
I have a deep appreciation, very much so. Love it.
So if there's a nonprofit out there looking to, have a well-run event, might they wanna give you a call one day and, because that's what you do, right?
Absolutely happy to, and I can put them in touch if they need a bigger one to help put on a larger event. Mhm.
So are your kids back in school yet?
They are. They are. They are quite excited to be back in school on a full-time basis. There's so much more than just academics. There's their social parts, their sports kids. It's so important, and I'm watching their smiles really blossom on their faces. My kids enjoy school, which is quite important. So yes, very much so.
Now, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. I don't wanna get political. I don't wanna get anywhere near any of that, but
Sure.
how happy were they to be back in school?
Absolutely ecstatic. They wanted to go back. They were, yes, very much so. Quite happy, smiles on their faces. The one time I really don't have to wake them up in the morning, get them prepared to get out the door. They're pretty self-sufficient with that.
Now, I had my wife and I have 2 boys. You have 3 sons. What's the morning routine like on a school day? What times does everybody have to get up, and does everybody know what they're supposed to do to get out the door?
They definitely know what they're supposed to do. We've been quite structured for many, many years. They get up at 5:30 every morning, 5:45 at the latest. They have breakfast. Their clothes are already laid out for the day. They're ready to go. They don't have to think too much, and then it's in the car, and we drive to school, along with that cute little Zoe that I mentioned earlier, that fur baby.
Well, yeah, yeah,
He goes
that's it.
with us.
Because she wants to say, hey, kids, have a good day as well," right?
He loves kids, loves
Uh,
them.
has
Mhm.
anybody forgotten anything important recently, and you or somebody else had to run back to the house?
Not recently, but it's gonna happen. It happens every year, many times a year, and I come when I can, but absolutely.
The flexibility with your industry allows you to do after-school activities and evening activities with them, right?
100%. There's many yeah, so I'm at every event that I can possibly be. There has to be a work-life balance that is so important. But to say that, I will serve my clients, and I am working sometimes till 10, 11 o'clock at night, and, other things. You get the job done. You represent your people and the promises that you make.
And the kids know, mom's on the phone, right?
They do. They're wonderful boys. They've been around it long enough,
Yeah.
and they're older. They're not little.
Now, are they showing any signs of interest in the real estate world?
No, not at all. No, my middle son, he is 16. He wants architectural engineering. He loves to design and make things. So I guess you could maybe bridge that with real estate a hair. My youngest is probably going to do computer engineering, computer science like his dad. That's his heart, and that's what he enjoys doing.
Right. Well, in 6 to 8 years, your middle son can design the buildings that you will sell.
Yes, absolutely. We'll get him on the commercial world.
There you go. All right, so Michele Stewart with, Pickett Sprouse Commercial Real Estate, member Profits in the Park. If you work or live in the Morrisville area every Tuesday mornings at, 9 a.m. at Hope Community Church, they meet. It's a wonderful group. It is one of my 3 or 4 favorite groups that I am attracted to just because the mix of personality and business. So if you're in that area, please go visit. We've been putting Michelle's phone number up here on the screen. So if you are looking for commercial site or anything like that, looking to buy or sell, please give Michelle a call. I know she'll take good care of you on that. And Michelle, we've enjoyed having you on the show today.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Mike.
Yep. Good luck with everything. And we'll see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.